Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? I'm quite looking forward to today's class. It's a quite interesting class. We're going to be doing a misty sunlit kind of scene in a forest. Lots of interesting techniques to show you. It's not a difficult drawing, but it is going to take a while. So if you're short on time, don't be shy to pause or come back to the class later. So we'll start off. Let me show you what the picture looks like. Then I'll show you what's laying ahead. So I got this guy off Pixabay. And it was a nice atmospheric photo. And I thought, wow, this is going to make a fabulous drawing. And why I say it's going to take us quite a while to draw it is, look carefully and you'll see there's lots of layers to this drawing. And it's those layers that we now need to build up, because you've got trees way at the back, and then you've got trees in front of trees, and then you've got this misty sunlit effect shining through in front of all of those trees. And then you've got other trees in front of that, and then you've got the snow, and then you've got all sorts of little sticks and things growing in the foreground. So we have to build up those layers, so you do need to be patient today. But I promise it's not a difficult technique. It's really quite simple. Alrighty, so let's go to here. So if you're a patron, you can go and download the reference material. There's the link over there. There's the color photograph. There's the black and white version. Then obviously after the class I'll now go and add the final drawing as well, so that you can work from that as you go. So I think we'll work from the grayscale version today. It's easier to reference from it. Alright, so I think what we need to do is, we've got a nice bright area over here, and then it goes sort of progressively darker outwards and away from this bright patch over here. So maybe what we can do is, let's lay down just some tonal value to get that little glowing effect going over there. And then from there we'll gradually start adding some details. So to do that, I've got a scrap piece of paper, which I just take a really dark pencil. I've got a 9B over here, and I scratch over this until the paper is full of graphite. Then I take some more graphite and a knife, and I scrape it off, so that I've got loose graphite that I could work with. So I've got a whole bottle of graphite here. This is all 9B graphite. So I'm going to pop a bunch of that down over there, and we'll work with that to lay down that initial tonal value. And to do that, I'm going to just use just an old piece of t-shirting material. You can see this one is well used. And I'm going to rub it across here and then onto the drawing. So it's basically picking up that loose graphite that you've scratched on there. And now we're going to put it down onto the drawing. And I'm working just plain printer paper. I'm using an A4 sheet of photocopy paper. Alright, so we've got our sunlight effect over here. There's a little bit of ground here at the bottom, so we can start there. And then here at the top we've got the canopy of the trees. So we're going to do this kind of a thing and just get down just a nice amount of tonal value. So what we're looking for is to get light over here and then gradually darker to to there. When I pick up new graphite, maybe I can pop this guy down over. Let me pop that down over there just so you can see how I'm working with this. Usually I'm just rubbing over there, and then I'm rubbing it in onto the paper. So this here in the smooth area only gets you sort of mid-tone. You can't go too dark with it. It just doesn't allow you to, because there's not enough loose graphite lying there. So to go darker, I'm going to tap the cloth just gently into some of that loose dust over there, and then I'll tap it out again over here just to get the worst off, so that I don't have any hard blobs of graphite dust on the cloth. And then I'll start here from the darker areas and gradually work my way in. So let me know if you're drawing with today. And if you are, just make sure you've got 2 sheets of loose scrap paper handy somewhere close by. So if you don't, quickly zip off and go and get that, because you'll be needing it shortly. Right, so here at the top, I'm going to make them reasonably dark, because we do have now that the tree canopies over there. And so at the moment, all this is just pure paper. There's nothing. There's no graphite there whatsoever. But we do want to have some graphite there so that we can still lift out highlights. So we'll add that right at the end. Yeah, I think that's a nice little start over there. Can you see we've got a lovely glowing effect happening there already, eh? Right, so over here, just to make sure that you don't have pure paper and allowing us to lift out highlights, we're going to just go over the whole page. Just give them a light little layer. And now we've got some graphite over there that we can lift out. So there's no more pure paper left on the available. Alrighty, so now we can start getting some details at the back there. So to do that, it's basically just trees and stuff, a few little trunks and things that we can see. Let's go to there. Can you see there way in the distance? You got those hints of tree trunks and stuff that we can see through the mist. So the further away they are, obviously the less of them we can see. So the easiest way of doing that, and the quickest way of doing that, is just take 2 scrap pieces of paper. So what I've got here is just 2, it's basically little just transparency kind of pieces of paper. So I'm going to be using that. So I'll take them and just take a piece of low-tack masking tape, and I'm going to put it on the end of this guy so that you can stick this page down. Let me just zoom out. Let's go to this camera here. Let's go here for a minute, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm taking a piece of tape on each of these. So obviously you won't necessarily have the transparent one, and you don't need it. Just plain pieces of paper will do. You're welcome, Susan. Alright, so let's take that and that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use these two pieces of paper as masks. So let's say, for example, we want to put a tree down over here. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put him down and just stick him down onto the table. Can you see? So that's now past the drawing paper, so it's not going to get stuck to our drawing paper. I'll pop him down and I'll stick this one. So all we've got available or visible or exposed is the place where we're going to pop our tree down. Okay, so let's go back in again. So what I've done is, let's just put him down there for now. So I've masked off basically this tree over here. Now can you see what happens with the tree? It's broader at the bottom and it goes gradually narrower to the top. So these are, I'm assuming they're pine trees. So I've done the same thing. I've given myself a bigger gap here and a smaller gap over there. Now I'm going to pick up some graphite, still on the cloth, and we'll start at the top and just work our way down. The darker you need this guy, the more graphite you're going to put down there. So to get him really dark, I'll use the graphite dust. Just tap the cloth into it and then tap it out into the open area again, just to distribute the graphite evenly. So only work like downwards, so that you don't accidentally draw in underneath the paper. And can you see it doesn't go all the way down, it ends around here somewhere. Alright, cool. So now you can lift up these papers. And look there. There's one tree done. So we're going to do a whole bunch of them now. So if you don't, I'm using the transparency so I can sort of see through it a little bit, mildly. It's obviously got graphite on there now already. But if you're using just standard paper, then what you do is just take a pencil, maybe an HB or a 2B or a whatever, and make yourself just a few little marks, like there. That's where I want my next tree to be. So now you can use that mark as your guide of where to put down your masks. So now trees are a bunch of alcoholics. They've all got a hangover. You'll see trees don't grow all upright, perfectly upright and so on. And they're all different, same as us. They're all unique. So you've got to make each tree different. Make some trees upright, some a little bit skewer, hanging over to the side, to the left, and some to the right, and so on. So now I've put this down, and I don't want him to be the same tonal value as the other guy, because the other guy was close, so he went darker. This guy now needs to be lighter, so I'm going to just check. You can just lift up the one side and see how dark you are. Yeah, I'm happy with that. See, take that away. So now you've got one tree that's closer and another tree that's further away. Let's give this guy a bit of a hangover here. And give each tree, the trees are different distances apart as well. Keep it as random as what you can. Okay, so again, this is a far away tree, so I'm just going to bring him down about that darkness. Let's check him. Yeah, I'm happy with that. do another tree. So this is let's make him hang over that way. And he's a bit closer. So I'm going to make him a bit bigger as well. Because he's closer, he's going to appear bigger. So a bit of a bigger gap there in the mask. And because he's got to go dark, he's closer, he's got to go darker. So I'm going to instantly pick up more graphite dust. And just look at those beautiful sharp edges. Awesome, eh? So cool. Okay, don't make him too dark because he's still at the back, is behind the mist effect. And I quite like this guy. He seems to have a little bit of a what would you call it, a younger brother or a younger sister here next to him. So we'll put a little skinny tree growing out from next to him. They're at the same distance though, so you have to make them the same darkness. So check yourself on that. Yep, that seems to be about the same darkness, so that's cool. Let's move along. Let's maybe add just a young tree over there. And he's quite far away, so we'll make him thinner. Just a few little strokes over there. Here's a nice taller dude over here. He's a little bit older than the other guy, so we'll make him a bit broader. We'll make him just a little bit darker, so I'll rub over there a little bit longer. Let's see, let's give him more of an upright friend over there. And this guy takes a little bit longer to go narrow towards the top, so keeping it roughly parallel. Just one or two little strokes over there. He's further back. So can you see how I'm busy getting these guys, how I'm randomizing them? Alright, so here in the center we've got a bigger guy again. And he does seem to go skinny soon. So I'm using the photo as a reference, but I'm obviously not cropping it perfectly. But it's nice using the photo as a reference. It keeps you in the right track. So he's sort of mid-distance, so we can make him a little bit darker. So now just imagine you weren't using this technique, you were trying to draw these trees with a pencil. You'd still be on your second tree, eh? Alright, there's. So here we're going brighter and brighter out into the sunlit effect. So the brightness is busy hiding what's behind the mist, because the mist is now really bright. So I'm actually just going to pull some of these guys just down to here, not all the way down to the base like we've been doing there. This one I'm just going to, from the top, drag it in and stop it around here somewhere. So it's same as before, they lighter at light at the bottom and darker at the top. But now look what happens. You've got a little tree that's sort of disappearing into the mist. So I think I'm going to turf that guy because I now need to put this paper of mine over there, so he's going to be gone. Now we can add one or two really light guys. Let's put maybe one closer to him. He's a skinny guy again. And he's really far away. Literally just one or two super light strokes. Okay, here we've got those beautiful front guys, so we can stop there. I think that's far enough. That's far enough for that. And there we go. Now we've got the basics of our forest sorted. I think if I look over here, we can add one or two maybe just little lighter guys to get a little bit more distance in that. So let's do that. So just literally, let's go just one stroke and see what it looks like. Yeah, you see there? So you've just got that literally like a ghost image happening here and there. Let's put this guy also close-ish to that one. Just a skinny guy because they are now far away. So go one, just one. One wipe like that. Make one more over here. It goes so quick, it doesn't matter. You can easily add as many trees as you want to, eh? You can go crazy. Let's go maybe 3 on that guy. There we go. Now we've got some guys way out into the distance. Awesome. Okay, now let's bring the that paper back. And I'll put him down. Yeah, I think for now let's put him back. Let's put him back there. Can you see here? It's quite dark because you've got now the these are pine trees, and we're only seeing the bottom bits of the pine tree. So most of the leaves and the branches and things are actually up out of view. We can't see them. But now what's happening is these little bottom ones that we are seeing are having quite a strong shadow cast on them by the ones above. So can you see you've got these really dark little patches and things over here. So now you're going to take your cloth and just pop your finger inside there so that you've got just a smaller area that you're working with at a time. And just dab it inside the graphite dust. You can tap off the worst as well. And I'm going to again just use the photo as a guide of where these little dark patches are. And I'm literally just tapping my finger. And because I'm tapping like that, it's giving me little random patches of dark. So I'm starting in the corner, get that corner nice and dark. I try and get the corners of my artworks darker because that just sort of also helps with a looking in effect. It draws your eye into the picture. So the more you go over an area, the darker it's going to appear because the more graphite you're now rubbing into the paper. Alright, so let me just wipe that excess dust away and you'll see what it looks like. Let's maybe just turf that logo there for a second. Watch out. So I'm going to just wipe all that dust away. So can you see? Now you've got these random patches of tonal value there. So that's going to represent clumps of leaves and stuff. So like I say, I'm now going to use the photo as a rough guide and put it in similar places where I see these dark areas. Here's quite a bit of branches coming down over here. I know they're in front, but it's dark, so it doesn't matter. It's gonna. We'll always add some more there later. But it starts darkening up that area over there and starts giving us that overhead effect. Make sure these guys go out of the picture, like that. And then down here there are a few of the same things, but way out into the distance. So I'm going to just add a few little random patches like this. Nothing too exciting and nothing too major. Just to create some kind of an effect. Alright, so there I want to do it quite light. So I'm going to just take my spare piece of t-shirt, wipe off any excess graphite that's on there. So now just that little bit of graphite that's inside the material will work for that. That's just giving us some stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's get rid of all that excess graphite dust, because that's just going to sit there and dirty our hand. So as I'm going along, you can see your hands do get pretty dirty. So I am rubbing them and just wiping the excess off on a spare piece of t-shirting material, just to stay reasonably clean as I go along. Alright. Now we've got lots of, because we're now busy building up this leaf effect, the foliage. So some of them you can see are lighter. They're catching some sunlight. So we need to create that effect as well. So for that, I'm going to use an eraser. I'm going to use my Tombow eraser. So it's basically a pen-shaped eraser. Nice little thin point. So I'm going to just pop you down on there for now, so that I can arrange the other camera and zoom in. Alrighty, let's see. Let's maybe go to there. So now what you can do, just to keep your hand cleaner, because you've now got lots of graphite over there, just put a scrap piece of paper or some transparency, whatever, down there. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to erase little leafy effects. But to be honest, can you see the leaves there? I can't. I see sort of just random patterns. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just use that random pattern effect as my guide on how to do this. So all you're going to do is, maybe I can get a scrap piece of paper and just draw the action that I'm going to do using a pencil. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to exaggerate the most movements just to make it bigger on the paper for you. But I'm going to just erase little marks like this. So eventually I'm going to, maybe I want to create like a little bit of a branch coming down there with the leaves hanging off it. So you're going to have more erasings and scribblings over here and less as I come down over here. So it's just little scribbles like this. But now with the eraser. And I'm going to look at my photograph and sort of just use that as a guide to see where are my lighter marks and where are the darker marks. And obviously make sure things go behind the trees. Sometimes with the distant trees you can get some stuff going in front of it as well. But use this now to strategically outline some of these trees, because that's going to help show distance. Okay, so can you see how I'm just wiggling and squiggling? Let's see. I'll see if I can get closer in there for you. Yeah, that's better. And I'm going to go into some of those dark areas as well that we put down, because that breaks now your fingers making round dots, and leaves and stuff are certainly not round. So that breaks that smoothness of these marks that we made. So some areas you go over a little bit more, then they can become lighter. Some areas you go over less, then they are darker, and so on. And this is one of the times when you do need to be patient. Because you are now technically drawing millions of leaves. So every now and again I am just cleaning the eraser on my, I'm wearing jeans, so I just wipe them off my jeans, or you can wipe it off on your shirt. Just so that the eraser is still lifting out. You'll notice after a while it's not lifting out nice highlights and stuff anymore. So then you just give it a good old wipe. See, like, there's one of those little less vibrant or distant trees. So I'm going to take these leaves over this one. But I'm not really going to add leaves over these front darker ones. What I am going to do though is I'm going to take, say, let's put, say, some leaves over here. And then they go in between, behind that tree. Then they go behind that tree and they emerge over here. So now look what you've got. You've got continuity to show that those things are way out in the back, in the distance. Okay, so just create yourself a bunch of random marks, even maybe, yeah, one or two inside these darks. Maybe there's just a little branch that's peeping out and catching a little bit of light here and there. Okay, as we come down, here I'm seeing quite a bit of leaves running down here. Alright, so I think you can see the technique now. So let's just go. Let's go wider on that again. And then you're also going to have a few little branches that are catching some sunlight, and some of them that have got some snow on them as well, I'm also seeing. So we can add them. And then some of these trunks are also catching a bit of sunlight. So you can just, on that far, let's go to there. On the far left hand side, you can add just little, not necessarily even long lines, just little broken lines running down to show that there's little bits of sunlight hitting that tree. Like there's a good one over here to separate that tree and that tree. Maybe this front guy, the smaller guys in front So he's catching just a little bit of a highlight over there. Not high up, more lower down. Right, let's go to there. So for now, I'm just going to continue with this for a while, add little dabs, dashes, patches, things going into the picture, some going out of the picture, and so on. Here's quite a bit over here. Keep it as random as what you can. And as always, strategically put them so that it's bringing out the silhouette of those distant trees here and there. Just to really make them visible. You can see on the photo, it's no detail. You can't see any individual leaves, so all we can do is create that impression. That's good enough. So I do have more lessons on how to draw trees. So if you want to learn how to draw trees in detail, take a look. There are more lessons like that over here. So the biggest risk you find with this is that you tend to work on a patch that's the same amount, so all your patches end up the same size. So you have to keep reminding yourself to work random. Awesome. So now down over here we've got, not here in front. Here in front we've got lots of snow and stuff, but there's also some snow happening way at the back there. So there we're going to just add more little horizontal kind of movements to create more of like a bushy effect and stuff. So sometimes you can go over the darker guys or the lighter guys. There's little patches and stuff. Really random. So we're just suggesting goodies way out into the distance. Literally just scribbles and patches and so on. Let's see, maybe there's a nice little highlight on this tree over here. So I'm going to lift that out over there. There's a few little marks and so on. Right, so now we want to get these trees to go into the ground. So I'll take just my cloth, put my finger back in again, and dip it into the graphite dust. And now here where you want them to meet the ground, you can just put little random horizontal kind of marks, just like that. So what that's doing is it's just roughening up the ground so that it's not smooth. Cool. Come back in with a few little extra marks over that. To now really sink that in. Look at that beautiful distance we've got there already. You can walk into that forest already, eh? Okay. Just over there I'm seeing a really light patch. He's putting my eye off. He's drawing your eye out the picture. So I'm going to just darken him up and that in that corner there too. Let's just darken up that. That's great. Now we've got lots of leaves at the top, casting shadows. Alrighty. So now we've got to a point where we've got all those distant trees sorted. So now we can add this lovely misty effect. So if you're looking at that misty effect, let's just do that. You've got really light little areas, and that's sort of what we've left for ourselves open. And then you've got these little darker streaks where the light isn't shining through. So we're going to alternate between making darker marks and lighter marks. So it's back to the cloth. So we'll start with the dark marks. Now, before I start drawing that, I need to explain something else. Your light source. I'm assuming it's the sun. It could be a light, just a light or something. It doesn't matter. If you've got a light over here, the rays of light don't radiate out parallel. They sort of do this, like a sunshine kind of look. So take a look over here. Your light source is out there somewhere. So these guys are at that angle, that angle, that angle, and that angle. So it's gradually flattening out as we move to the top. So our light source is somewhere this height here somewhere. So as you make these marks, you'll start them at one angle. So I'm just going to drag it in there like that and go over that mark just a few times. So now what's happening is it starts thin over here and then it broadens out to this direction. So what I'll usually do is I'll start from this side and I'll work my way in. Like that. And as before, we want to keep things random. So make sure you're not making the same distances everywhere as well. Some of these marks are going to be thinner, some of them are going to be broader, and so on. Some of them are going to be darker, some of them are going to be lighter. Now we can do the lighter ones. So I'm going to take my kneaded eraser, nice and just a roundness like this, or you can squeeze it like that as well, just to give you, but it's got to be really round. Can you see that? You don't want any sharp edges. We're not drawing some crazy lines, so usually I'll just do that and then just wrap it around my finger like that. because we don't want really any hard edges or anything like that. I'm going to just drag one or two little lighter guys in here. So same as before, you can go over the same patch again. Now you'll find what happens with the lighter one, it's the opposite of the dark. Where the dark is thin here, and broader to there, the light would go broader here and thinner to there. Or let me put it another way. It would tend to fade out over here. Where here you have darker and it goes lighter to there. Okay, so keep these guys all nice and random again. Let's maybe make just a little skinny one over there. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Okay, let's get that nice snow effect. Let's get that in. Yeah, so let's maybe go to there. Like that. So what I'm going to do to get that, we'll go back to the Tombow eraser. Now what you're going to do is start with, can you see just the peaks of some of these guys are catching a nice sunlit effect. So I'm going to take those guys and use them as my starting point. And I'm going to erase them pretty well. Am I getting them in the same place? No, of course not. But I'm getting them similar, and that's good enough. So you can see they're quite random and so on. Right. So what that's done is given you your peaks. So from there, we need to just, they round off. It's snow, right? So I'm just going to, using the eraser, lay off on the pressure and just fade that. Each of those guys now downwards. And can you see there? It's rounding them off. Now you've gone from a hard line to a shading. As easy as that. Okay, here we've got some more. Another line of snow running in front of this tree over here like that. It's not as bright as the other one, so I'm just keeping that a very light touch and gently fade him out like that. Super light touch eventually at the bottom. Now you can take a pencil. So look at that. We've nearly finished this drawing. We're only touching a pencil now. So let's maybe take a... Yeah, I think let's go for an 8B. Or a 6B. Something like that. Also just rearranging the... Rearranging that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and right up against that. Just above it. That's where he's going to be at his darkest. So just darken that up ever so slightly, not too much. Remember, this is snow. It's really low contrast. I do have a lesson on drawing snow. You can watch that as well. So if you want to learn how to draw snow. So in other words, I'm just darkening up those valleys. And that's just giving these guys even more depth. The darker you make it, the more depth you're going to get. Over here, it's quite interesting. Here we've got that little... there's a tree that's been cut down. So it's just a stump sitting there. So let's pump that stump in there. End it off random here at the bottom. There's another little random piece sticking out in between the snow. Let's cap him off with some snow. Nice sunlit snow on this edge over here like that. There's a little sunlit piece over there. And then there's some more snow running out there. And here's a few little other little guys over here that also need other little humps and bumps. And there's some more happening over here. So this side will stop because we do now need to put in those other trees before we can do that foreground. Let's darken up some of these valleys here. You can see just really quick shading from the bottom going up. Where we erased lighter going down, we just drawing darker going up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's cool. Get rid of some of those erasing bits over there. Awesome. Let's add those trees in. So they now here in front. See, there's one guy sort of peeping his head out in between. So let's get our masks back again. So he's quite close to that edge. Let's put him maybe around there. He's quite upright. He's upright and skinny. So he's really dark there at the top. So we can add lots of graphite down there. But as we come down here, here is going to fade away in these little really bright sunlit bits. So I'm going to stop there. Maybe go over here. So go down and up, down and up. So now look what's happening. It's creating us a faded effect on that tree. And then as he comes down here to the bottom, here he meets the ground. So here we see him again. So I started dark at the bottom and just fade him upwards like that. So it again just disappears into that very bright sunlit streak over there. Let's check him, see what he looks like. Can you see there? So now we've got a tree that's coming and going, you could say. Let's do this fellow over here. He seems to be a little bit further away, about like that. Okay, let's stick our papers down. And now he's quite dark. So these guys here in front, you want to get them darker than all the other guys that we did on the right hand side. The darker we make it, the closer it appears. So I'm going to be quite generous with the graphite dust. Get him down there like that. Let's turf that just for a second. Can you see? Because he's darker than anything over there, that's brought him now forward. So there's your next layer of distance. Let's get that guy back. Okay, so we have the next dude is a little bit further away than the other two. So we'll make him a bit lighter. So making him darker at the top and lighter towards the bottom. So we'll stop there. That's cool. And now our last guy. And he's well in front. So I'm going to make him reasonably big. And obviously he's not going to be the darkest of all of them. So we'll be using plenty of graphite dust on this guy. So just remember, only up and down strokes. You can't go side to side, otherwise it's going to nick in underneath your mask. And I'm also going to end this further down than the guys on the right hand side. That will also help to show that he's closer. Okay, let's check him out. Yeah, there we go. It seems pretty solid, eh? Let's just get rid of all the excess graphite dust. Right, let's go to there again. While we've got the cloth, may as well just pick up some graphite dust and let's give this guy a base over there, like that. And this guy, give him a little base over there. Yeah, that's good enough. Alrighty, now we've actually got a reasonable amount of work still ahead of us. You'd sort of think we're nearly done. but I would say we're probably about 60% done at this stage. Because what we need to do now is get in all these front details. So these front details do take time, so you do need to be patient. So I don't think we'll add in every last little detail today. Just enough for you to know what's going on and how to do it. And so I'm just making this a little bit more interesting over there. Right, let's finish this and then we'll work on the details in the trees. So it's back to our snow effect again. So let's get some nice, those little highlighty bits. So you can see there aren't as many highlight bits here, but there are still some just little mounds which you can put in and fade downwards. There's maybe some snow that's not in between those trees, just lying there on this edge. Maybe even catching some sun there. Here's something over there. And then it's just a few little wiggles and squiggles for that. Alright, so I'm going to stick with the 8B. And for now, I'm even going to turf that. We don't need that now. Let's put that down there to protect the drawing. Now I'm going to take just the sharp edge. These trees are now close, so we've got to see a bit more detail. So I'm going to start off by getting this silhouette just a little bit rougher. So I'm going to just wiggle and squiggle all the way up there. And that'll give us like a bit of that rough bark effect on these trees over here. Just wiggles and squiggles. That's all it is. Just breaking that edge. And obviously there's nothing stopping you from having a little bit of a piece of bark that's now about to fall off there. That one there should be okay. Let's do it to this one here as well. That's made that silhouette a lot more interesting and real. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, so now we've got all these branches and things that we need to draw. So branches work like this. It'll come out, here's your tree trunk, and you'll have a branch coming out there like that. So that trunk, or the branch, is going to start broader here. I'm going to narrow it to there. And then you can have one coming out this way, one coming out this way, one coming out this way, one coming out this way. But now remember, trees are alcoholics, so they've all got to hang over. So when you draw this, there you got to shake as though you've got a hangover. And that's how you're going to get natural branches. So what I do is you do that, and now you come back here and you squiggle it wider towards the tree trunk. And there you go. That's how you draw your branches. If your trunk is this wide, that branch can't be wider than that. It's got to be thinner. If a branch comes out over there, it's going to be not wider than the width of the branch it's coming out of. So I'll use a sharp point for this. And I'm going to just start getting these guys, just a bunch of random guys just plotted in here. Just to get me started. Make them a bit broader towards the where they come out. And I know there's none on the picture, but I think I'm going to just add one or two coming out this side over here as well. Okay, let me put that over there. So you can see from that branch, you've now also got leaves. So I'm going to take a look. How do those leaves, how do they grow? So they do seem to grow sort of, they're like little, almost looks like seeds. So I'm going to just wiggle and squiggle a similar effect in here. So just wiggle, squiggles, dabs and taps. And that's making these guys now look, making them look realistic. Maybe there's a bit of a leaf hanging down there. Let's see. Move that camera up there a little bit. All right, so as we come here, now we've got more, let's say on this one there's more leaves. So I'm going to just copy what I see from another leaf. So it's fuller here, and then it seems to go a little, like little stripy bits. Coming down there like that. Okay, well, we're at the bottom. Here you've got lots of little branches and things coming out. You can also just wiggle and squiggle them in really rough, quick. Some coming into the picture. It's quite a rough little, quite a busy floor, this one. I'm just going to add all sorts of little random shapes and things. Even over here, there's just a few little random goodies doing this. Maybe sticks and stuff that have fallen. Maybe there's gaps. Here, there's got to be a few little branches and things coming up over here. So like I say, you cannot spend as much time as you want to make this as real as what you want and as accurate as what you want. So I'm going to just turf that for a minute so you can see what it looks like. Let's see, maybe here there's a little, I can see it does look like a little baby tree over there. So there's a baby tree, just a little shape over there, like that. And maybe there's some snow lying on him, catching some sunlight. It does look like it. And that'll just add something interesting over there. Here also seems to be a random little bright bit over there. Maybe this bit of tree here is catching a bit of sunlight. So I'll just do that. And we have that one wider up, catching some sunlight. Okay, and then over here. So we have now added all these little darker bits in, so that's already helped you to start get some kind of branch and leaf effect. So what you're going to do is just start from inside those, and I'm just going to wiggle, squiggle, and scribble in branches and just little effects of leaves. These are all masses, so you don't need to get as much detail into them as you do into these guys over here. These individual branches coming down here, you want to get more detail into them simply because they alone, they're not in a mass. In other words, you look at them, and when you do look at them, you're expecting to see detail. So here, you're going to take your time and you are going to add details into these guys, and maybe smaller little branches and all sorts of interesting things, you know. And here at the top, you're just going to create that effect of a mess. And there's lots of things happening over here, lots of branches and leaves and so on. Okay, so let's take a look. But Minnie is saying at the bottom along the dark tree, the branches have formed a pattern like a man with a big hat looking at the trees. See if you can see it. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on just adding random little things. I'm adding branches and stuff here on this side and here, just squiggles and scribbles, just to break up any little smooth patterns and stuff. And here you can add little, using just the same pressure to get the same colors, that the few little branch effects, but don't overdo it. Don't get too carried away, just little samples, just suggestions of details in these distant areas over here. Just enough to suggest detail. Here's quite a nice big branch. I'm going to just add him in. Just wiggles and squiggles, scribbles and so on. And then that branch is hanging down here, so there's more leaves on this guy. And a few little leaves coming out on that side there as well. Maybe there's a branch coming off there, doing this. Yeah, and there we go. Let's add a few more branches and things at this vicinity. Coming out over here. So if you have enjoyed this lesson, can take a look at my website. The link is over there. I've got plenty more drawing lessons like this one, all real time. Then there's also painting classes as well, watercolor, acrylic, watercolor, pastel drawing, there's pen and ink lessons, tons of other lessons. Hundreds of them, in fact. And if you've enjoyed this one, you're definitely going to enjoy the other ones that I've got there for you. Then each of those, at the end of the class, I go and edit the class. So the classes that you see over there are fully edited. And they've got the handouts, the PDFs with all the reference material and so on. They're all available there to you, for you to use, and you can, everything is on demand, so you can watch them whenever it suits your schedule. Okay, I'm just adding a few little extra dabs and dashes just for some texture and interest and so on. Let's see, there we've got a nice little bright area, so he's just looking for a branch or something to cross him, just for interest. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that there today. I'm pretty happy with that end result. Let's go to there. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Nice little tips and tricks there, but as you can see, it's not difficult. It's just a bit of a process that you have to walk through and get some nice dirty hands in the process. Thanks for joining me in the class. I'll see you next time. So guys in the live, you're welcome to fire away with any questions and so on. Thanks for joining me. It was great fun. Next week, we are painting, and we are painting hyacinth flowers, and we're going to do that in a nice loose impressionistic style. I'm quite looking forward to that. Nice bold brush strokes next week. So I think we'll paint that one in acrylic. We've done quite a bit of oil for a while, so let's do that in acrylic. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the lesson. You're welcome. You're most welcome. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Zoran. Thanks, Virginia. Oh, you drew along, Tracy. Nice. So it'll take me a day or three just to get the video edited and upload on the website. When you do, please don't forget to post your drawing under the discussion area. Then I can give you some feedback. I'd love to see how your drawing is. Guys, you're also welcome to tag me on Instagram. I do check there as well. Tag me with #paintbasket. I check that hashtag as well. So if you have done a drawing or a painting from one of the classes, tag me. Now I can see what you're doing. Padmini is asking if this charcoal drawing can be preserved by fixing spray. You can, Padmini. I don't do it. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I frame mine behind glass, which, speaking of which, that kingfisher that we drew the other day, I've had him framed, and look how nice he looks framed. Really cool, hey? So this is how I protect my drawings. Behind glass. That's the best way. And then obviously, if you're not framing it or anything, then I keep them in just plastic sleeves in a folder, just like this. And this folder sits like this in the cupboard, doesn't lie flat. Each drawing hangs. And that's why they get no sun, they get no nothing, they stay perfectly safe until you are ready to frame them. When you frame them behind UV glass. Just ask your framer to use UV glass and not just regular glass. Cool. And how did you protect yours, Zoran? What did you do? Did you spray it? So Tracy, if you have posted on Instagram, just edit your post and add this hashtag to it. Hashtag paint basket. Just one word. Like that. I've added it into the chat box there for you. You're welcome, Renee. And Alaska brew. Do you actually make brew? Yes, you can just use leaf protectors. I think that's pretty much what I've done here in the file, eh? Yeah, behind glass is always the best one. Yeah, tag me, guys. Or like I say, if you are a patron, on each class there's a little discussion area where you can upload your picture there. Then I can give you feedback. Awesome, thanks Tracy. Looking forward to seeing your yours and yours, Zoran. You're welcome, Linda. You guys must have a wonderful weekend. We headed out to the snow in the week on Wednesday. Oh, Tuesday. Here near us, it's about a 2-hour drive. There's a mountain. It's actually a volcano, an active volcano called Mount Ruapehu. So this time of the year, it's ski season here by us. It was great fun. I can't ski though. But we did play in the snow and that was awesome fun. Alrighty guys, I think let's call it a day. You have yourself an awesome weekend. I'll see you next week. Cheerio.